A bunch of my friends know that I resigned from my very nice job about 6 weeks ago, and I've been working on these different projects. So the plan is to talk about three things. One is a data visualization I did on Burlington, Vermont. Another is the provisional patent application I just filed, which also has to do with ranked choice voting. And then what I'm going to Iowa for, what I think I'm going to accomplish there. This is a picture of how things played out in Burlington, Vermont in 2009 during the election for mayor. It's bound to come up when people are having wonky conversations about ranked choice voting. It's gotten a lot of attention and a lot's been written about it. One of the big reasons is because of this. It's an outlier. It's pretty well known and it's easy to spot. Of all those different ranked choice elections held during that time period, it's the only one that wasn't a Condorcet winner. So what's that? It's very political and there's a lot of math. To make sense of this, let's go back to the beginning. And it's a good question to ask. What happened in Burlington? What's the big deal? Why did this modern Vermont city decide to reverse itself and move away from instant runoff voting and ranked choice ballots? From here you can see the system worked the way it was supposed to. Nobody got 50% on the first round. The lowest performing candidates were eliminated round by round, but those voters who had a next preference in the ranking still have a say. The same thing would have happened if there'd been a special runoff election for just the top two candidates on a separate day. The candidate with the bigger original base lost out to the candidate that was able to get broader support through the runoff. The data I used to build this visualization are off a few votes, but it's good enough to make my point, which is this. If you want to use ranked choice ballots to find a consensus, then use a tabulation system that's oriented toward showing the consensus. Condorcet tallies results as a series of matchups or duels, like a round robin on steroids. This is the first draft of a data visualization I did using a tool called D3 to show how the matchups play out. The centrist candidate prevailed in more matches over the base candidates than the base candidates did over the centrist. This is the raw vote and ranks for the top candidates. Remember, there's a slight error here, but not enough to make a difference. When you take these raw votes and assign values to them by rank, first choice would get 6 points, second choice would get 5 points, and so on. You see how things play out according to the Borda tally method. There's nothing mysterious about what happened. The IRV result depended upon which of the base candidates was most palatable or least unpalatable to the centrist voters. But the Condorcet result depended on the base voters deciding that the centrist candidate was less unpalatable than the other base. You're going to have more confidence in the result when all the systems line up. And in this case, either ranked choice tabulation system is an improvement over first past the post, because clearly the plurality winner was least representative of the community among the top three. But that turned out to be the group that was most adamant about moving away from ranked choice voting. But they didn't realize that if they'd taken the position, let's go all the way with Condorcet, they would have been able to get results closer to their own interest. Another good big question is, what's the point? When so many people are working so damn hard for so little, why worry about election reform? How's that going to help them? And if you're going to worry about election reform, why worry about arcane stuff like ranked choice voting systems and 18th century tabulation conflicts and controversies when people can't vote on weekends and it's so hard to register in this country, and we have one of the lowest turnouts of any so-called democracy because people make it hard for most people to vote. So why have this priority? It's because I buy into the more voices and more choices mantra, because I think if you do it that way, people get more sincere about trying to figure things out. They have to come up with baseline facts and values and propositions in order to figure out where they are. So my hypothesis is if you get a lot of evenly divided races with many candidates, more than a dozen or so, you'll start to see lanes develop and you can get more sophisticated about positions. So I want to keep working with D3 and all that cool JavaScript stuff. Since I've been thinking about this for a long time, I put together a description of all the goodies and all the variations I could come up with and submitted that as my provisional patent application. I'm going to Des Moines to pitch Ames poll, where the value proposition is high quality political advertising. And we know it's tough because the market for low quality advertising is so huge. I heard John Dickerson say the other day, you don't go to McDonald's and order Chateaubriand. So that's why I'm working on Ames poll. I want to show you what Chef Craig can whip up. I believe in open source, but I also believe in open algorithm. It's not a matter of just being able to look under the hood, but to get a sense of where the thing is designed to drive you. So let's look at these systems and kind of what they entail and how they constrain us and how we can best leverage them to do what we want to do once we understand what we want to design them for. I've done a little data science and I want to do some more eventually. I've talked a little bit about my provisional patent application for compact human readable ballots optimized for preferential voting. And I'm going to visit some politicians in Des Moines and their staffs and talk about different ways of advertising politics. See you in Des Moines. But wait, there's more. You can get notifications about an upcoming beta by following Ames poll at Twitter or on Facebook.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not which one to vote for, but how to rank them all.